Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Windfall, new movie out now on Netflix. I guess it's been out for a couple weeks now, but a new movie nonetheless, starring only three people are starring in this movie. There are only 4 people in this movie total. You have Jason Segel, Jesse Plemons, Lily Collins, and Omar Leyva. Omar plays the gardener, who is probably the smallest part in this whole movie. Primarily, this movie takes place with Jason Segel, Jesse Plemons, and Lily Collins as wife. Lily Collins plays wife. Jesse Plemons plays CEO. They are a married couple having some troubles in their relationship, going out to their getaway, this desert getaway in this undisclosed place. But this movie, super simple, very few characters, only 92 minutes, which is great because it's not necessarily a slow movie. I mean, there's not action-packed. There are moments where you are on the edge of your seat and you are there's some anxiety watching this movie. But there's also a lot of discussions. There's it's 3 people talking. But I loved it. I love this movie. Obviously, big fan of Jason Segel as well as Jesse Plemons. I think this movie is the most different character Jesse Plemons has ever played in any of his roles. Possibly one of his best, acting jobs, I would say. Far better than The Way of the Dog, which he was fine in. That movie was fine. I don't see why it got as widely applauded and nominated as it was, but he was fine in that movie. But this movie, I think he is playing the most different he's ever played, and he's great at it, playing like this kind of a billionaire CEO, ultra-conservative stereotype kind of a guy. You have Jason Segel, this movie starts on Jason Segel. Very slow, very just him relaxing at a place by himself. And you don't know I didn't know what this movie was about. I didn't know what he was doing there. He was just like a guy kind of chilling out at this getaway on his own, and until he picks up a towel. And you realize, and he starts wiping down the handles, and you realize that he's wiping off his fingerprints because he broke into this place. And that moment where he picks up the towel, it changes. You're just seeing this peaceful scenery with him in it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, something more sinister is afoot, right? Then you start having more questions in your head as the audience. What is he doing there? And then as he's going through, about to leave, some more people show up. Jesse Plemons and Lily Collins show up, right? And they don't know he's there, and he ends up having to make himself known. And now you're in a situation where Jason Segel's character, called Nobody, is in a worse situation because they showed up. Because now it has them kind of basically kidnapping it. In a way, he gets to a place where he locks them into a sauna, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna stay in here and then I'm gonna run away and then wait, and then you can kind of come out. And as he runs away, he sees a camera, so he's like, well, he has to go back because now he's got to deal with that. And it's just a great movie where it gives you time to really sink into the shoes of each character as these different things happen, as these people in a way kind of struggle to come out on the other end okay. And now a quick word from our sponsor. Now you can wear The Many Faces, original art by Ray Taylor. Select pieces from the ongoing series of abstract ink paintings. All products made with high-quality materials, made right here in the USA. Go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF merch to browse the entire collection and save yourself an extra 10% when you check out by using coupon code RTSTMF. So once again, go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF merch and save 10% when you use coupon code RTSTMF. And now back to our show. Obviously, the billionaire isn't too worried about however much he needs to pay this guy, and this guy doesn't seem like he wants to hurt them. He just happened to break in, and they happened to show up, and the situation just got worse. It would have just been breaking and entering, but then they showed up, and now it's everything else involved with that. So he doesn't want to hurt them. They obviously just want to be left alone. So it's like everybody's kind of working for towards the same goal. And then somebody else shows up, the gardener. And it's this crazy thing. Because it's like the tension and the stakes keep getting ramped up in this movie as events happen. And obviously I'm going to spoil stuff. I thought this was a great movie. Worth a watch. Great, breezy 92 minutes. Right? If this were any longer, it would have been too slow. But I feel like the pacing of this movie really allows you as an audience member to kind of consider all of the angles involved. Kind of lets you sit inside of the different characters from their different points of view, and ask yourself how you would react in those situations if you were in their shoes, which I appreciated that. So I'm going to spoil it. But we have obviously the stereotypical conservative billionaire CEO guy, complaining about people wanting handouts, complaining about everybody's just lazy. If they just got off their ass, if they were just took Kim Kardashian's recommendations for success, just stop being lazy. As if people who struggle to feed their family on minimum wage are lazy people. Working 3 jobs just to survive is lazy. Struggling to survive is not laziness. It's just their perspective from their throne up in their mansions. They don't see how different reality is for the other people. But Jesse Plemons plays the stereotypical conservative guy. And this gardener shows up. And this gardener is the most tragic character, right? This gardener, spoilers, I'm telling you spoilers. This gardener is so tragic. But he epitomizes all of the things that Jesse Plemons says is all people should be. They should take care of, if you just love what you do and strive and work your ass off and take initiative when given the chance. You have this gardener who's takes it upon himself to take care of everything immaculately, and he built all these structures, and he's laying out all of these things on the land to make the property look even more beautiful. He's taking the initiative, and he has these plans drawn up for these other additions that he wants to do for his place, a place that he doesn't even live. Right? That's just how much this gardener loves, how much passion this guy has for what he does. And he's a happy guy. He is so thankful to be able to do what he loves for a living and work for somebody that allows him the freedom to do what he wants to do. And he has this paper where, Jesse Plemons' character to sign off on these plans. Right? But that ends up being the most tragic character. The ideal, the guy that's happy and loves his job and is so thankful and grateful in a moment that was caused by Jesse Plemons, where Jesse Plemons tries to drop this guy a note, which ends up making that guy part of the whole thing because, he gets stopped before he ends up getting away to tell people what's going on there, right? Jesse Plemons fucks up because he's selfish. He's conservative. So this guy, this tragic figure, is now roped in to this situation without having to do anything, just trying to be a good person. He ends up getting roped into it. And in an effort to avoid danger, right? This character, this gardener, sees an opening to avoid danger, tries to make an escape, ending with an accident that leaves him dead. This tragic character that loved his life, trying to avoid danger, ends up dying. And the whole end of this movie is insane. How it's just there's a scene where you have Jason Segel's got a gun now, right? Throughout most of this movie, he found a gun, and he's using this to like control everybody, to make sure that they do everything. I mean, and the way the gardener dies is tragic as well. But there's a scene where Jason Segel gets to sit down in front of Jesse Plemons, right? Gun to Jesse Plemons. That is a dream that most employees would have, to have a reality be with their CEO. They would love to sit across from their CEO with a gun, being able to tell the CEO what they think about them and how they treat people. And Jason Segel, it's been like this question, nobody guy. It's been a question throughout the whole thing. We don't know why he's there. And the CEO, like, is throwing out possibilities. Like, well, you don't know me personally, but you have to hate me, so you probably hate my business. What did you work for me? Like, he's trying to find out what the thing is that Jason Segel is there to begin with. And you find out that it's like, yes, he was an employee that ended up getting screwed. And it's like, he is speaking for the people in this movie, right? You have different representatives. Each character represents a different part of this character. You have the tragic gardener, right, who is the only person of color, right, Mexican guy, which is a common thing in this country. We are a melting pot of people from other places in the world come here to make their dreams come true, like the gardener did. He may have been from the U.S., but he's still a person of color, still striving for the same American dream that everybody else is, right? And succeeding in this, like working his ass off and succeeding at his dream. But it doesn't matter. Then you have Jason Segel, who is like your everyday blue collar worker, right? Then you have the CEO. And then you have the wife, who is like a lot of like liberals that are like kind of like the type of liberal that like maybe an elitist liberal that is still like racist and stuff, still like has a lot of values that the conservatives have, but is also at least acknowledging the fact that other people exist on this world and that we should be nice. Right? She's a heartwarming person, but she represents a specific type of person that's maybe on the surface seems to be more caring and more concerned about other people, but deep down is just as selfish as the CEO. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. And when the events of the chaos happens, right, where you have, the gardener kills himself, and it's like later on in the night, but there's this moment where she gets the opportunity to kill Jason Segel's character, right? There's this window of opportunity where she's like, she thinks she's formed this bond with the worker, with the nobody, right? So where he trusts her more than he trusts the CEO. And because of that allows her an opening to murder him. And then she takes the gun and shoots the billionaire. then puts the gun in the hand of the gardener, which is what happens in society, where you have these people who pretend to give a fuck, but given the opportunity will sell out all people that are different to maintain their privilege, right? You see it all of the time in a lot of like liberal politicians will do a very similar thing. Will allow people of color to be the scapegoat, to be the one who gets the legacy of this gardener in this movie is tarnished forever. Posthumously, doesn't matter that he's dead, will always be regarded as the guy who killed this billionaire CEO. In the reality of this movie, this gardener, the happiest guy, the guy following his passion with initiative, the go-getter, didn't matter. I mean, he slipped up and killed himself, but the fact that he ends up being blamed will forever, his legacy be the man who assassinated the CEO billionaire will be this gardener guy. His family, that's all they will know. And that's not even the reality of him. It is so tragic that happened. But also is so like, yeah, okay, the people that pretend to have sympathy for the average man are still in it for themselves when it comes down to it. Because she didn't have to kill him. Could have just let him go. But she took the opportunity. She got free. Made it happen. So the end is it's like a brutal end. But I loved it. I love this entire movie. Yeah. I think that's pretty much all of it. I didn't think I missed anything. But yeah, Windfall. It's like, obviously I spoiled. Hopefully you took my spoiler seriously. Because, yeah, just that's the end. That's how it ends. Kind of a tragic ending. So, I mean, you have sympathy for Jason Segel's character. Because he doesn't want to cause... He broke in because he wanted to feel what it's like to be a billionaire, to see how they live, right? That's why he broke in. But he didn't know they were going to show up to try and fix their damaged relationship. It's like, why? She's there because he paid off her stuff. She is the one who is lazy and got the handouts. Because the billionaire CEO paid off her student loans. Like, in the end, it is not the person who loves what they do, works hard, and has initiative that wins. In the end, it is the person that's received all of the handouts, who has the privilege, takes an opportunity to like bury everybody else. The selfish nature of humanity. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. Again, Jesse Plemons, amazing. Jason Segel as the quote-unquote bad guy, which I have a lot of sympathy for that guy. I didn't, it hurt when he died, right? I didn't like Jesse Plemons, billionaire CEO, acting as if people who aren't billionaires are lazy. I'm so fucking tired of that narrative. I am so fucking tired of it. And it is so hack. It is so sad that all of these people just assume they literally, like Kardashian, did nothing to become rich. They grew up privileged. Released a sex tape, knowingly released a sex tape to follow in the footsteps of her good friend Paris Hilton. And built on that a dynasty of bullshit. Have the audacity to look down at people and say, you're not like me because you're lazy. As if Kim Kardashian works her ass off. Please. None of these people would ever know what it's like to have a hard day's work. let alone a lifetime of hard days' work. So anyway, check it out. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend it. Windfall.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.